reason why people don't necessarily follow up on their creative impulse is usually related to momentum. It is so easy to lose momentum, and then it's hard to get it back again. It is imperative to purposely carve off a little bit of your life to devote to being creative.
The Makerspace is really beautiful in that we give people the keys to the kingdom. We allow them to be able to run with their passions. And as they grow, their passions develop, and we see them blossom into beautiful artists of all kinds of different types.
I've met so many parents in our programs who have said, God, I wish I had this when I was a kid, or who stick around because where else do you get play with toys that can make all sorts of things for you and have a community that supports that learning? You just don't see that in your average day-to-day life for the most part.
As you go along in your general life, you make compromises in order to get to a certain point, and they add up. There's a certain point at which that little voice inside of you starts to despair of doing the things that you set out to do, of following your visions, of trying things out, just to know whether they would work or not. Coming here, that little voice has gotten squished down day after day, comes roaring back.
The tool library is definitely essential. For developing my passions and my interests, it was absolutely vital. I wouldn't be the person I am today without it. It's taught me life-changing skills. It's definitely been where I found a community that I could relate to really well. It's been a home for me.
When I first came on, the Makerspace was a back room in the back of the tool library. We had so many people in the community that inevitably they were drawn there. Little by little, this community started growing to the point where we had people building all kinds of stuff in our room that was meant for storage.
With the arrival of each person, the space changes just a little bit. It recomposes, and that ripples out to everybody. So it's really kind of impossible for it to stay static. The more that we come together as a group, the more we all benefit. We've reached this point where the future is really open for what we could do. We originally had no programs at all. Now we have like a dozen programs. We're featuring things like additive manufacturing, CNC cutting, laser etching and cutting, video game programming, electronics. If we've come this far up to now, how far can we go?
Everybody, I believe, should be able to be creative. And in some ways, it's really hard to do that in Toronto. It's a busy city. A lot of our community members are people who live in condos who don't have the space and they can't really afford to be making a big mess. We're able to say, come here, clean up after yourself, but you can make that mess and we can be creative together and learn collaboratively.
The main benefit of the Makerspace is people being able to keep up with the changes in society and still be able to do those things that they treasure, like building stuff, exchanging information, and being part of a community.
The one thing that I would want to have everyone come away with from the Makerspace would be a sense of empowerment. That would be it, because like so many things take away from our feeling of like personal power, that we can go a little bit different path from everybody else and actually make something ourselves. A place like this has the potential to return that feeling of personal power.